TJ, I just wanted to get your thoughts on Tyrese and hanging the banner for his Olympic medal.
Yeah, it's a amazing accomplishment. I mean, Tyrese has done so much for this program, continues to do so much for this program, and what an honor, what a great opportunity for us to be able to honor him. And it's really special. You look up in the rafters of the banners that are up there, and to have his name up there means a lot to all of us. So it's going to be an exciting day, great opportunity.
How do you view Monday in terms of, obviously winning the game and playing well, but of what you guys want to get out of it?
Yeah, it's, the standards that we set every day in practice, we talk so much about. We're working to play to our standard. It doesn't matter if that's a practice court or when the game presents itself. I'm a firm believer in if you do things one way, that way of doing things will show up for you on the night of the game. So it's with great, intent, great energy, effort, things we're trying to establish. We've got a fair amount of new guys, even though we talk a lot about the continuity. So it's getting them out there in front of the fans, kind of getting the nerves out, and playing Cyclone basketball, which for us is going to be hard. Play extremely hard, play gritty, play for each other, have fun out there.
What are one or two of the unknowns for you going into Monday that you're hoping to maybe not learn, but at least get an idea of?
Well, I think with the new guys, if you hadn't played a game here yet at Hilton, it's just, seeing how that goes. Certainly the guys that return have had that experience before, so just how we handle that. I think also for me, how long stretches certain guys can play. I think, as you get to know your team better, guys that are better in a 3-minute stretch, or, maybe some that can play extended minutes and not have any let-ups. So I think that's something. And then different, lineups, rotations that we're still sorting through right now and trying to figure out who plays the best together and who puts us in the best position to win.
TJ, you have a lot of guys back, so you know what they're about. But just going into this year, what are you most curious overall to just see from your team and just find out about this year's squad?
Well, more than anything, you mentioned the continuity of the guys we have back. How does our team change, adapt? We obviously have new front court players, guys like Deshaun and Brant and Joshua that hadn't been here with us that are going to be guys that garner minutes. So it's how does that all mesh together? How quickly can we have that synergy and that continuity? You go through the preseason, and even though you're fortunate to have 6 weeks of practice, you have different injuries at times and different, situations where guys aren't available. So you don't get as many reps with everybody together that you might like. So I think it's really that front line and melding it in with our guards that have been back that we're really trying to look at.
And what is the conversation like during this build-up, the last few days until the season opener? Lots of butterflies, or what do you tell your team?
Yeah, we talk a lot about just, the daily habits, the standards, the things that we do every day will show up for you on game night. So focus on the thing that's in front of you. Right now, that's have great practice today, have a great film session, have a great shooting workout, whatever you got today, and then, worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. I think when you're in the game, play that next possession. Give the next possession all your focus. We really value in guys the ability to play through mistakes, guys that when things aren't going well, that they respond a certain way and they play with an intent, and that's going to continue to be important.
Hi, TJ.
Hi, Rob.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Any lingering injuries from all the rigorous activity season starting, and anybody who may be kind of limited on Monday?
Yeah, not at this point. We still have a few practices to go, but right now everybody's clear bill of health. There's no limitations. Nobody's, being held back or on a minute restriction or anything like that. Everybody's full clear. So, we'll see how it all shakes out.
I know every group's different. You touched on the continuity, obviously, with the backcourt back, Milan, JT, guys who've been in the program. But how has this group, I ask you every year probably, through the summer, now you're into, a few days from the first game, adopted the habits, taken to caring about each other? How is it different or the same as the other teams?
Well, I think those things are always, excuse me, you're always building and they're always, evolving. I think even if I hate to draw parallels to last year, but, we are certainly, I think, we had certain games during the year that we went through some things together, and those brought us closer. Those experiences certainly are going to do that. because I would say that we continue to get better, we continue to practice hard, and we continue to have a greater sense of unity based on experience. So I think how you handle success, how you handle failure are both so important. Both of them are going to be coming at us, or adversity is going to be coming at us, and some successes, hopefully. And as they do, it's how do you treat each other? How do you pull for one another? What do you learn about one another in those times? I think we all, as human beings, you learn most when adversity sets in, when things aren't going your way, when you're in foul trouble, your shot's not falling, maybe you're not playing as much as you'd like, and then how do we come together in those moments? I think that's one of the big separators from teams that have so-so years and the teams that have great years, and that's something that we'll continue to build, grow, and aim to do, but it takes a lot of hard work every single day and being intentional to do that.
TJ, you talked a little bit in Kansas City about how strong this defense can be when guys are in position. What has been the adjustment for those newcomers getting used to the defensive intensity and the scheme and all of that?
For us, we pride ourselves on making multiple efforts. I think for the front court players, your bigger physical guy like Chatfield or Deshaun Jackson are, and so you're not maybe quite as used to being up as high in ball screen coverages, as active. Maybe you're used to only guarding the center, whereas in our defense you can end up on different guys. So I'd say more than anything, it's continuing to give multiple efforts, fly around. We preach all the time, we're going to make mistakes defensively, but we want to fix them immediately through our effort, our communication, and just, making multiple efforts, flying around. So I think that's something that those guys are continuing to become accustomed to. It's certainly something that we believe we work on a daily basis, and hopeful that it continues to carry forward for us in practice. But they're all workers. They've done a great job. It's just a continued focus on what we can get better at in practice, and making sure we utilize, every opportunity we have.
How is Milan coming along in terms of responding to your guys' challenge of being as aggressive as possible, getting a shot off?
Yeah, lately he's been really, really good that way. Certainly something that at times last year we got from him, and at times he could have been better. I always want to do the best job I can for him in terms of making sure our messaging is clear, making sure that we're putting him in those situations and those opportunities. There's not a player that you could have more confidence in because of the work that he does off the court, the time that he puts in, how much he cares about it, and how important basketball is to him. So we've got tremendous belief in him and the aggressiveness that he plays with. I mean, we want him, when he's out there, man, we want him like ready to shoot it from anywhere at any time. And I think when he does that is when he plays his best. So we're going to continue to challenge him to do that.
With a guy of his confidence and skill set, I guess you wouldn't think you'd have to tell him to shoot it a lot. Like, that wouldn't be a challenge. Why does he need that extra push? Where does that?
Yeah, I think there's two parts of it. One, I think he's a great human being. Like, he's a great guy. He cares about his teammates. He's almost one of those guys that says, I've made a couple shots now. Like, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to take too many. And we're continuing to press upon him that if he doesn't take those shots, it's selfish. We need him to. Our team needs him to. That is important for us. So regardless of what happened on the last shot, we want him focused on the process, which is continue to hunt, continue to hunt, continue to hunt. And that's something that I feel like for him, he's got to have that mindset. And, for him, in high school, like many, he was the focal point of their offense. So he knew that every possession the ball was going to hit his hands multiple times. And, you get to this level, and for anybody, that's not always the case. So you've got to be opportunistic when those opportunities present themselves. You've got to be ready, and sometimes they don't represent themselves, and that's where I think just capitalizing every time he can. Sorry. Probably so.
You've talked a lot about wanting to see Keyshawn Gilbert take a step mentally with his consistency. I guess you've kind of phrased it. How can Monday night's game really kind of challenge him in that aspect?
Well, it's every possession for him. We've had some really good wins and some really great moments when he's played his best. And at the same time, I think his focus, when it's where it needs to be, he plays great, we play great. So it's not really worrying is it the start of the game I apologize. What point in the game, what's the score, what's going on, what defense are they playing? It's him keeping focus on the task at hand and not getting off track based on external distractions, whatever those may be, of a score or situation, a foul trouble, a shot not going in. Just keep his focus on doing what he needs to do, get us in the paint, guard the basketball, be a great energy guy that he is. Jesus. Sorry.
You've recruited him since he was in high school at Vashon in St. Louis. You recruited him to UNLV. You recruited him here. Have you always felt like trying to get him to find the mental consistency that you've talked about has been a growing point for him since you first started recruiting him at UNLV?
Well, he has the mentality that I love, which is attacking. He's a fighter. He's bringing the fight to the opponent. He's a competitor, right? And so I love that about him. I've always loved that about him. At times, that can lead to some frustration, or maybe when things aren't to go your way, to overreacting or to focusing on what isn't going your way because you are so competitive. What we want to continue to urge him is use that competitiveness as a weapon and a strength, not as something that can hinder you from playing your best.